The Return of Frieza. But this time, it's not in some movie, it's a new saga. The return of the Emperor of the Seventh Universe to Earth. And this time, what will happen? A great battle is about to explode, and you can't even imagine its outcome. Want to know everything that's going to unfold? Come with me. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate the bell. Frieza is on his way to Earth, and his newest protector is at full steam this time, right guys? Have you ever heard the phrase, quote, "the humiliated shall be exalted," end quote? Well guys, currently in the Dragon Ball Super manga, this phrase is more than stamped on Gohan's face. In his newest transformation, Gohan Beast, which is breaking barriers in the current saga of Dragon Ball Super, in the saga that ended and in this new one coming up. They wanted to really emphasize this whole issue of his, standing side by side with Goku with his Ultra Instinct, showing that the phrase said in the anime is becoming real, where Goku says that he and his son Gohan would grow strong together. And Goku was Gohan's first victim, actually the second. The first was Cell, who the first time also defeated Gohan, given that he was defeated only because Goku had to sacrifice himself and also help in the end of it all. And this is becoming increasingly explicit, where they bring Gohan into this new phase, where now he has the staff and the duty to protect the Earth, and in this new saga that will bring the end of Z. The whole story of Dragon Ball Super, including the arcs of Beerus, Frieza, Tournament of Power, Moro, Granola, and Superhero, takes place within the 10-year interval between the defeat of Majin Buu and the tournament where Goku meets Oob. Pan, Oob, Goten, and Trunks are aging. The characters are gradually reaching the ages they had in the end of Z. For example, Pan appears as a baby in Superhero, and Oob already had an important role in the Moro arc. The story is approaching the epilogue. The creators have been careful not to contradict the end of Z. Toyotaro, the author of the Super manga, has already stated that he intends to respect this ending planned by Toriyama. But hold on guys, in the end of Z is not the end of the manga, but the end of a cycle in the history of Dragon Ball, and the beginning of another. All this after the death of Akira Toriyama, and that's why the importance of Gohan in proving that he can protect the Earth, because the new cycle that is coming will be like Dragon Ball GT, only traveling between universes, new sagas like the Sadala planet, Jiren's universe, and much more. Anyway, where does Frieza fit into all this? As we have already seen Gohan against Goku, one he loses, another he wins, even if Goku gave up. But Gohan proves he's capable and even breaks Goku's Ultra Instinct. Against Cell, he loses, almost gets defeated, and Goku dies. And this time against Cell Max, he wins with his beast form as well. And as we know, parallel to all this, we also have a being who humiliated Gohan and the Z-Warriors a lot. You already know who it is, right guys? His name is none other than Frieza, the Emperor of the Seventh Universe, now even more challenging and more terrifying than ever, having his new black form, which already came smashing everything in the Granola saga. But he already humiliated Gohan a lot, and in this new saga and new path of Gohan, he needs to defeat Frieza, even if only partially, having a victory against him. And this is really cool, Gohan finally getting this well-deserved spotlight. Well, there is no better way for Frieza to have a clash with Gohan than right now at this very moment, considering that since childhood, Gohan has always had a pure spirit and hidden power that impressed even the most experienced warriors. But for Frieza, that was never enough. Back on Namek, when Gohan tried to face him with a rage attack, Frieza not only resisted easily, but also brutally beat him, throwing him against rocks and pinning him with his tail as if he were playing with a doll. Even with power increased by fury, Gohan was treated like an insect, and Frieza made sure to show it with disdain and sarcasm, laughing at the boy's naivety and the impotence of the Z-Warriors. Years later, in Dragon Ball Super, Gohan as an adult tries to reclaim his role as a warrior, but Frieza keeps finding ways to belittle him. In the Tournament of Power, for example, the two team up against Dispo, but Frieza manipulates the situation so that Gohan sacrifices himself, making it clear that he considers him a disposable piece. Even when they cooperate, Frieza never misses the chance to drop a venomous phrase, calling Gohan, quote, "the son of the pathetic Saiyan," end quote, or mocking his lack of bloodlust. Gohan, with his pure heart and focus on protecting others, ends up being a constant target of Frieza's arrogance, who despises any sign of compassion or hesitation. But perhaps the most humiliating moment happens in the Resurrection F arc and in the movie. After years without training, Gohan is visibly weaker. When Frieza is resurrected and returns to Earth with an army of 1,000 soldiers, Gohan tries to protect his friends, but soon realizes he's nowhere near the necessary level. He tries to transform into Super Saiyan but can't maintain the form for long. Frieza notices this and doesn't miss the chance to mock him, saying Gohan is not even a shadow of the warrior who faced Cell. Then he attacks him with a death beam that leaves him on the brink of death, and Gohan only survives because Piccolo sacrifices himself to protect him. Another humiliation, since he had to be saved like a beginner. Frieza, of course, makes a point of highlighting this, laughing at Gohan's weakness and the fact that he abandoned his training to live a quiet life as a father and scholar. This contrast between Gohan's gigantic potential and Frieza's calculating cruelty creates a constant tension. Frieza represents evolution through obsession and cruelty, while Gohan represents the power that is lost when peace is chosen. And even when Gohan shows strength, like in his mystic form, Frieza watches with that look of someone who recognizes the talent but still considers him inferior for not being ruthless like him. But now, Gohan has come to show who really rules Universe 7, the protector of Earth. That peaceful Gohan didn't leave anyone missing him, right? Hello, Chi-Chi, let the boy have fun. And spoilers, he really will. We continue here with the unfolding of Chapter 102 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, after Goku goes to Earth to fetch his two sons, Goten and Gohan, along with Trunks, Carmine, and 15, who were present at the opportune moment. Taking advantage of this hook, these two characters weren't just there to watch everything. Well, actually yes, but I believe there's something bigger behind this. Otherwise, Gohan would have already kicked them aside and come only with Goten and Trunks, along with Goku, to Beerus's planet, especially because they're carrying a camera recording everything. But that's a subject for another video, right? Vegeta, worried and curious about his son's evolution, asks Gohan to fight against him and Goten, since the two show great synergy. Gohan has a bit of difficulty, but once again they mess up the fusion and the victory goes to Gohan. Then Gohan prepares to face Goku, who right away uses Ultra Instinct and asks Gohan to go straight into his beast form. Then the great fight begins. From here, we have a great battle, and we already know how it ends. Following the subject about the evolution from the once whiny and spoiled boy to his new beast form that now will challenge the current strongest one, Black Frieza. If Gohan faced Frieza today, at the peak of his beast form, the fight would be brutal and short. Gohan would not enter with hesitation like in the past. He would go straight for the offensive, using his speed and overwhelming strength to give no room to Frieza. The Emperor, even in his black or golden form, would have to resort to dirty blows and desperate strategies to try to balance it. But the current power gap is so big that after a few energy clashes capable of destroying planets, Gohan would crush him with a single final attack without giving a chance for recovery. Another option would be a draw between the two, and yes, this can happen if we think of a scenario where Frieza is at his absolute peak and Gohan Beast still doesn't have full control of his power, as we saw that he only reached his limit to stop Ultra Instinct. The clash could turn into such a balanced fight that neither of them would be able to take the other down quickly. It would be that extreme endurance battle, colossal attacks canceling each other in the air, explosions destroying entire moons, and both getting more and more exhausted but not giving in. In the end, they might just end up standing still, breathless, recognizing that continuing would mean the total destruction of the battlefield, and then the draw would come more from physical and strategic limits than from lack of power, or maybe even just a test for Frieza to try his new powers. Gohan Beast and Frieza Black represent two completely different paths to reach absurd levels of power in the Dragon Ball universe, and it is precisely this contrast that makes the parallel between them so interesting. On one side, we have Gohan, whose beast transformation was born from an extreme emotional trigger, a sudden and almost instinctive awakening, fruit of years of latent potential that he never fully explored. On the other, Frieza, who achieved his black form through a meticulous and calculated process, 10 years of equivalent training inside the room of spirit and time, something no other character explored with such discipline and strategy. Gohan Beast appears in the movie Dragon Ball Super as the definitive answer to the threat of Cell Max. This form is not just a raw power boost, it carries a change in Gohan's combat stance. He leaves behind hesitation and dependence on other warriors, taking on the role of absolute protagonist. Visually, the silver hair with lilac reflex and the fierce gaze recall his most iconic moment against Cell in the past, but now amplified to a level that, according to the narrative, places him above Goku and Vegeta at that specific point in the story. The most remarkable feat is precisely defeating Cell Max, an enemy described as comparable or even superior to Broly in terms of raw strength, and Gohan does it with a single final blow, the special Makanko Sappo taught by Piccolo. Frieza Black, on the other hand, is introduced in the manga as a narrative shock. After years without being the main threat, he returns not only stronger than his golden form, but capable of defeating with a single strike Goku in Ultra Instinct and Vegeta in Ultra Ego, two states that until then represented the peak of Saiyan power. The scariest detail is that he didn't reach this level by chance. He deliberately isolated himself and trained for a whole decade in the room of spirit and time equivalent, something that shows not only discipline, but also a strategic understanding of how to surpass his rivals. This black form is not just aesthetic, it represents absolute mastery of his own ki, speed, and endurance, to the point that Frieza moves and attacks before even high-level opponents can notice. The contrast between the two is almost philosophical. Gohan Beast is the power of awakened potential, of emotion, and of the connection with his loved ones. It is a power that explodes from the inside out, without planning, but with devastating intensity. Frieza Black is the opposite. It is the power of cold calculation, of patience, and of meticulous preparation. While Gohan reaches his peak in a moment of crisis, Frieza builds his over years, without depending on emotional triggers. In terms of feats, Gohan Beast has a short but impressive resume, defeating Cell Max, resisting planet-level attacks with no major damage, and demonstrating reflexes and strength that surpass any previous version of him. Frieza Black, on his debut, not only defeats two of the strongest warriors in the multiverse with ease, but also shows absolute control of the situation, choosing not to eliminate everyone just for narrative convenience, a sign that he knows exactly what he is doing and how far he can go. If we imagine a direct confrontation, the result would depend a lot on the context. In terms of shown feats, Frieza Black has victories against more established top-tier opponents, while Gohan Beast has a single feat, but against an enemy whose exact power scale is harder to measure. However, there is one factor that always weighs in Gohan's favor: his limitless potential. The story has already shown that, when pressured, he can break through barriers that seemed insurmountable. On the other hand, Frieza proved that he can evolve in a frighteningly fast way when motivated, and now he no longer depends on shortcuts like resurrections or improvised transformations. He built his strength solidly. The final parallel is that both represent extremes of how maximum power is achieved. Gohan is the spark that ignites everything at once. Frieza is the fire that burns slowly until it consumes everything. One is pure emotion, the other is absolute calculation. And maybe if one day they face each other, the result won't be as obvious as many imagine, because while Gohan can surpass limits in the heat of the battle, Frieza may always have a hidden card, fruit of his training and strategic intelligence.